Welcome to another episode of the broadcast. As always, I have with me my other half.
Yes, Nazar right here.
Reporting
For duty.
This episode has been such a long time coming. I have with me one of my dearest friends, Krish Vithlani.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
Thank
to the
you for
podcast,
coming on.
Krish.
Welcome.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
You're our second guest ever.
Really?
In
Yes.
person.
In person.
In person.
In
yeah.
person. This little studio
'Cause
setup.
I've seen some big shots. I've seen like a Coldplay director or something.
Oh yeah. We don't talk about that.
What?
Yeah, we're too big for that now.
Whoa. Okay.
All our 50 streams we take with us, and Matt Whitecross has nothing on it.
And we're always looking to top ourselves, which is why you're here
He's
today.
probably checking in every month. He's like, I made you guys.
He's a good guy though. He always leaves like he on Twitter he always leaves like good remarks.
Yeah,
And,
really?
every like thing I tweet at him, he's always like, "Yo, thank you very much. I appreciate it." Very humble,
Wow.
very
Mhm.
down to earth.
That's a
dude.
good guy.
He is. I love the guy. He's
Oh
great.
My God.
But I promise I will finish this
Yeah.
during the course of this podcast. Sparkling water isn't my forte, but I will definitely go through this can.
If
For
we-
you.
Thanks,
For
bro.
Krish.
Appreciate
For
it.
the
man.
love.
Appreciate it.
You brought with yourself a case of your watches. We'll get to it.
Did.
But how big of a watch enthusiast are you?
Oh man. On a
Because
scale from
I love your collection. Just peering through it.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. On a
But
scale from 1
I
to
want
10.
to know the history behind it.
Scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah,
I would say probably about an 11 or 12.
that's
Let's
crazy.
go. That's what I
He's
like
off
to
the
hear.
scale.
Yeah, I'm off the scale. It's unnatural. It's
What was your first watch?
it's
Your
probably
first big boy watch?
their first big boy
Yeah.
watch? It was probably the one that my sister got me.
Which was?
Fossil.
Yep.
Just a regular looking fossil, but it was very unique
Yeah.
in the sense that it had kind of the blockiness of an AG
Yeah.
or sorry, AP.
AP. Yep.
And it had a little bit of like the Rolex swagger on it.
Nice.
You know,
I
so
like
it was
that.
a really cool dial, super OG, and that was like my first big boy watch. But
Did it
I
have
was a
anything
big fan of watches.
Engraved
before
in the
that.
back, because with fossils, you've heard like a lot of
Yeah,
times.
no, nothing
Okay.
engraved in the back. She told me she got it from like some warehouse sale.
Yeah.
But like that was like my first taste. I was like, okay, if that's gonna be my first, what's gonna be my second? Gonna get third, fourth.
So you're
and here we
into
are.
like the whole culture of collecting watches, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yeah.
Houdinki, you follow. Affordable Wristwatch, you follow probably on Instagram. All these guys.
Yeah, no, not really affordable wristwatch, or Houdinki, but I do follow those watch guys.
Yeah.
I listen to Teddy Baltasar's like vlogs every time
Yeah?
one comes out.
Have
yeah.
you seen any of the talking watches on YouTube? That series?
No, I don't think so. No.
You have to
I
check
do, I
that
do.
out.
That's
I will
great,
highly
yeah.
recommend the 3 videos they have with John Mayer.
Really?
Oh
Oh, no,
my
then
God.
I have.
You have?
I've seen all 3 of
Yeah, the guy with
John
the
Mayer
glasses.
ones.
What's his name?
Yeah.
He's the guy who hosts those talking
Yeah.
watches.
I've seen that, and I've seen the one with Seinfeld. I've
Oh,
seen,
really?
The Seinfeld episode as well. Yeah. I just didn't know the guy. I just know like John
don't
Mayer
know.
watches, and I click.
Yeah.
John Mayer, anything I click.
Have
That's
you
kind of how I got into the idea of knowing that, okay, collecting watches and being a watch enthusiast is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's an expensive hobby.
And then I met
Very.
you, and then I kind of realized that this is actually a thing.
You were when I met you, I was just at the beginning of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then now over the summer, it's kind of hit the middle, towards maybe the end.
Right.
I made a decision maybe like 6 months ago that I'm not going to get any more watches until something big happens in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if I get a really cool accounting job or a
Yeah.
finance position,
Yeah.
that's going to be like my next
So you're gonna
investment.
basically mark your life with watches. So like, oh, I
100%.
got this.
So every time I put a watch on, that will mean something.
Yeah.
In university, it's cool. You can like put a watch on for finishing 3rd year,
Yeah.
and you can like get away with that.
Yeah.
But
Trust
after
me,
you
that's an
graduate-
accomplishment.
Even passing some
Bro,
courses. Let's be honest. There's some
At
courses.
UTSC, you have to mark those milestones. You
Yeah.
know, every year. They didn't kick me out this year.
Oh my God.
I'm still in.
You UTSC boys
I made
are
that
always
2.0, baby.
You UTSC boys are always living on the edge.
Yeah.
Always.
living on a prayer. That's how we
Bro,
go.
like it's crazy. I see this guy, we share a wall. And all I hear is like stomping in the middle of the night. Sighs. This guy's
when that Excel don't add up.
Yeah, when your journal entries don't match.
Exactly.
You just gotta drop accounting real quick.
So I've heard this quote about shoes from Forrest Gump that
Yeah.
if you look at somebody's shoes,
yeah.
every shoe tells a story.
Yeah.
Is
You
it kind
can
of the
see
same
where the guy's
thing?
been,
Yeah.
where the guy's going.
Is it the same thing with watches where of all of your collection, is there a story behind every single watch
Every
you
single
have?
one. Every single one. I can tell you some of the best days I've had wearing that watch. I can tell you some of the worst days I've had.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few watches that I was wearing when I had almost zero confidence
Yeah.
in myself, trying to get a job, trying to get an internship, trying to make my way back into management.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, like, there's some struggle watches
Yeah.
in
Struggle
that,
watches.
and then there's some like peak watches where I
Yeah.
got like when I was the happiest I've ever been in
Yeah.
life. So you have both sides of the spectrum, and maybe to you, a lot of people will look at that watch and look at it's just a watch.
Yeah.
But to me, when I see that, bro, I see a crazy amount of story behind it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of canvas, it's a piece of art
Yeah.
that
for sure.
and it tells a story.
Yes. 100%.
So
Are you into watches to the point where you're into the minutia of it? Like who designed the dial, what kind of working
Yeah.
it does and all
no,
that stuff?
no. I
Or are
know
you into the aesthetic of it?
I'm into the aesthetic. I'm into a little bit of the movement.
Yeah.
I care whether it's it's a quartz or a mechanical or an
Yeah.
automatic.
In-house movement and all that
Yeah. I'll look at the quality of it
Yep.
for sure. And then the case backs, obviously that's like a
course.
fan favorite, right?
stuff. Yeah.
But to the point where there's people that know exactly, like,
Yeah.
there's this movement inside of this watch,
Yeah.
and if they replace this movement with that movement, the entire inherent value of the watch will skyrocket. No, I'm not one of those guys.
My friend Mohsen is exactly like that guy.
Really?
So he talks about in-house movements like there's no tomorrow. Like
Wow.
probably gets a hard on talking about that. That's how. Like I love it because I'm a
Yeah.
watch nerd, but I don't
Yeah.
have the information that he has.
Yeah.
So when he goes on one of those like tangents,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in awe. Like I am
Yeah.
so happy for you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Like you know your stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just that he got me into watches.
Yeah.
But then he looks at like those really expensive like Omega Speedmasters. and
Yeah.
those
Yeah. Yeah.
AP, AP like Royal Oaks and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and those things cost like a kidney.
Exactly.
100%.
Man.
I think being a student and being into watches, it's so difficult because this is a habit that is so expensive.
Yeah, it's an expensive lifestyle.
yeah.
it's a
It's
very
like being in
expensive.
love with a celebrity.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god.
they don't know you exist. and
Yeah.
You'll never touch that watch in your life.
Yet you have that wallpapered
You know,
on
yeah.
your phone.
Yes, that's very well said.
Yeah.
What's your grail watch?
What's my
Like
my
holy
dream
grail watch? Like the watch when you get that watch, you've made it as a person, as a human being. You could die the next day and you'll be happy.
It's nothing like super big. It's probably the Speedmaster from
Yeah.
Omega.
Yeah.
It's like
Mine
this,
too. That's mine too.
right?
Yeah.
But it's
The
not
moon watch.
like if we're looking at it, it's not that
No.
crazy expensive.
it's
It's
not.
like 17 grand.
Yeah, but like that's you
but
could
like relatively
Yeah.
speaking, Royal Oaks, I've seen Royal Oaks for like
Mhm.
50, 60,
yeah,
70.
100,000 too. Like they modify
Yeah.
so much. You can get a Royal Oak that's completely gold plated with like
Yeah.
diamonds in it and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And that thing goes up to like 6 figures.
Yeah.
You can't stop that.
You can't do anything about that. But like comparative, the Omega Speedmaster,
love
that's not a big decision,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe one day, when 6 figs gets cracking on my salary,
Yeah.
I hit a couple tax brackets above, then maybe
Get that bonus,
I'll get that
Let's
STI.
go.
And
Yeah,
it is an
RBC
investment,
STI.
right? Like, I've heard John Muir talk about it, and he's like, when he
Yeah.
looks at all of his watches, he says, "This is all of the drug and cocaine I never did."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such an investment that the resale value on these things, it's ever growing.
Yeah. I mean, there are better investments, which I'm sure we're gonna get into.
Yeah.
There are definitely better investments that you can put. This is way more. If you ever buy a watch and think that I'm doing this because it's an investment, you're fooling yourself.
Do they ever depreciate?
Yeah, 100% they do.
Drake
Or-
said, "My watch
fossils are
factory
all gone."
made. It only appreciates." Pop star.
Yeah, that's
he
Aubrey
said that.
Graham.
I'm not saying that. That's what he said.
Drizzy Drake. Anything Drizzy touches appreciates, even like artists that really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Everything.
Who are you
Drake
looking at when you're
touches-
saying that?
Bro, man, there's so many bad artists out there. Like
That
Party
he's-
Next Door. I don't really.
He loves
you know,
Party Next Door.
I know. No. Yeah, Party Next Door loves him more. I promise you that. But definitely, yeah. When it comes to like watches, it's not going to be the best investment you can
Yeah.
get. But if it's a story behind it, and if it makes you happy, like genuinely happy,
Mm-hmm.
there's no better investment
Right.
than your
100%.
happiness. You
I
know, invest in
totally agree.
yourself first. Whatever you have left over, then you can find some monetary, long-term fiscal gain.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but until then, always invest in yourself. That doesn't mean like splurge when you don't have the
Yeah.
money to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying is that if there are little things every day that make you happy, there's a whole bunch of these finance gurus out there that say if you put away like $2 every day, if you don't buy that Starbucks drink, you know, every day, if you don't buy that Starbucks drink, at the end of the year, you could have like a Ferrari.
Yeah. I've seen those videos.
I'm
I've
like,
been convinced
have
by
you
those videos.
have you seen like university parking fees? Like,
Yeah.
have you seen these
$10
university
a day.
parking fees?
That's if
That's
you-
fucking high. I'm not doing that.
That's-
I'm gonna have my Starbucks and I'm gonna enjoy that bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how you live happily. You
Yeah.
have that Starbucks, but you don't park at that university parking
Don't
lot. Yeah.
park
See,
in
you
the valley,
across
guys.
the street at the Popeyes.
Make that walk.
Make that walk.
That walk
guys.
is
Let's
worth
go.
it.
Let's burn that.
That
Let's burn
walk
that
is gonna
Starbucks.
save your life.
So what kind of brought you to that realization that you're not gonna buy a watch until something big happens in your life?
You run out of milestones as soon as you graduate,
Right.
and then you're in this transition period, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna buy a watch every year now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1
Yeah.
year older, I'm gonna have another watch. That's not really feasible, right?
Yeah.
So now you're at this place where you're looking at people who do collect, and you're looking at their mindsets. Like I was listening to Kevin O'Leary one time. Kevin O'Leary is a huge watch fan,
Yeah.
such a big watch fan that he's so big in the game
Mm-hmm.
that people don't know. He only wears red leather on his watches. Have you heard about this?
No.
He will not put a watch on his hand that's not red leather. And
Okay.
he won't even buy external straps and then put it on the watch. He'll force the company to make red leather
So he's
straps.
so he's basically making like custom watches
He's making them make custom watches
for himself.
for himself. And then they'll be
That's-
like,
that's
dude,
boss.
there's no way that this watch is like AP is going to be like, there's no way that this watch is going to look good on red leather. And he's like, well, you going to make it look
Yeah.
good on red leather. And
Yeah.
that's my Kevin O'Leary. I don't
Yeah.
even know.
That's,
But that's
pretty
like,
good.
that's all he'll say. It's like, and then he'll just drop out.
Mhm.
And then 6 weeks later, like he'll have like a red leather watch AP.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has like hundreds of those, you know. So it's like I was listening to him back to the sorry for the tangent.
Yeah.
Back to business. Like I was listening to him and he's like, at this point I only buy watches when I close like a big deal.
Right.
You know, and then I was listening to a few others. It's like when I signed to this record label, I bought this watch, or
Yeah.
when I did this or that, I bought this watch. And I'm like, maybe that's a better idea. Maybe that adds to what I'm trying to do with the watches. I'm
Yeah.
trying to make stories out of each watch. You know,
Yeah.
you can see the different complications, but you see a lot more struggle in between them, right?
100%.
So that's kind of the motive now. It's not about the watch. The watch was never a crate. That's a piece of metal. You know,
Yeah.
that's a mechanical movement, like whatever it is.
Yep.
We all have phones now, you know, but the watch, like if you wear that watch every single day, every time you have to go for this interview or that interview, that is a piece of struggle attached to
Mhm.
that watch that for some reason doesn't attach to anything else.
Yeah.
We don't have sweaters where we're like, you know, like, yo, I was wearing this sweater when I was doing this or that, or
Yeah.
glasses, like, oh man, I wore this glass when I was like grade 9 to 12. It was tough years, you know. Like, I had no girls, like it was tough. Like, we don't
That's
do
true.
that, right?
That's
Yeah.
true.
But watches, like for some reason we attach stories and life events to that watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at that point I was like, okay, you know what, maybe it's a time where now I need to get watches as a way of remembering big milestones in my
Mhm.
life, because I don't celebrate that every day.
Yeah.
But every day that I look down at 1:15 p.m. and I look down at the watch and I'm going to be like, okay, oh, this is that watch when I wore
Yeah.
on this day and that
I
day.
think you put that really well.
That's poetic,
and
man.
That's
Thanks,
yeah, it
bro.
is. I'm moved.
He might just get a watch right now.
exactly.
I have 11 12 for you to buy.
You also talk about like making more realistic investments that will
Yeah.
for sure appreciate.
Yeah.
And you've been trying to get me into this habit of investing as well
I have been begging
Please
you.
talk to me about this. 'cause
for a very long time.
Yeah.
So talk about how you got into it.
I watched a video on investing a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And Ali Abdal, the guy we were talking about before
Yeah.
we started shooting, he great YouTuber, like one of the best out
Yeah.
there if you want like quality content on lifestyle and
Mhm.
how to make smart decisions and reading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He made a video on investing recently.
Mhm.
And had never seen that investing as like a viable opportunity. I always thought
Yeah.
investing was like for people at Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, right? That's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
my mindset.
yeah.
My
yeah.
thing is like if Leo Dio is pulling off Wolf of Wall Street, that's what investing is.
Yeah.
Penny stocks and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's what I know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my context of investing was very
Yeah.
like minute. Like
I
it's
agree. Yeah, that's
very
the same
Hollywood.
for me.
100%.
But then I saw his video. I was reading up on it. And a couple of my friends, Mohsen, who I was talking about,
yeah.
he's big into investing. He does
Yeah.
Forex and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh god.
And
Oh
he's,
no.
there's a
cut
lot.
that
There's,
out. Cut that out.
there's been a lot of nights where he's just like,
yeah.
another night
Jesus
gone to
Christ.
waste.
Yeah.
I'm $80 short.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But yeah. So tell me how your investing journey started, and why we should invest.
Yeah. So 100%. That's
Because I'm all ears, bro.
Yeah, bro. This is like the question.
Yeah.
You know, this is how you get people to start investing.
Yeah.
So in university, I was taking these classes where one of the main concepts that we learned was time value of money.
Yeah.
And any management kid that listens to this, they're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, like throwback Thursday.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But time value of money is pretty much this idea. And I don't know if you know about time value.
No, I haven't heard
TVM. It's this idea that tomorrow's money is less valuable than today's money.
Okay.
You know, so if you leave your money in your checking account, let's say you have 10 grand
Yeah.
in your checking account, right? And you only need like 2,000 a month or so.
Yeah.
Or 2,000 for the year. Let's say, let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
2,000 for the year. Then, if you leave that there, you are essentially losing money, because one, inflation is always a thing. You're
Yep.
getting a healthy economy will see 2%
2%,
inflation.
yeah, on average.
You know,
yeah.
year over year, right? That's what economists try to keep it at. So you'll see a 2% depreciation right off the bat.
Yep.
Trying to counteract that, you can put it into the S&P 500,
Yep.
which year over year, on an average over the last 80 years, has grown about 9 or 11%,
Yep.
or something in that ballpark, right? You know, some years you might lose, some years you might really gain.
Yeah. But this is
year
about
over
the
year,
long term game, though.
long term. If you're looking in the long term,
Yeah.
you will gain 9%.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the number one rule. So that's why if you look at any investing video and they say, okay, what's the rate of return that we're looking at right now? You know, what's the expected rate,
Yeah.
or what's the mandatory rate of return when you're looking at a net present value calculation? It'll be like 9%.
Yeah.
Because if you put that money into the stock market, any stock, or at least in the index fund,
Yeah.
year over year, 90 years later, you will see at least a 9% gain year over year.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like a huge thing, right?
Did you invest in
if
an
you're
index
not,
fund?
I used to have, no, I still do have actually. It's called an ETF of an index fund. So index funds, what's an index fund? An index fund is maybe 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 stocks.
Yeah.
In a particular, fund itself.
Yeah.
That represents the market. You know, S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks in the United States.
Apple, Google, Facebook,
The
Netflix,
big boys.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
You know, Morgan Stanley. All of these guys will be on the S&P 500. You know, but if you look at what the S&P 500 is trading at, it's trading at 1,000 plus per stock.
Yeah.
Of the S&P. So that's pretty unattainable.
Yeah.
For everybody, right? What if you have like $2,000, you might, or $2,500, you might get like 2 stocks of the S&P. Like that doesn't make sense. You know, that's really bad for diversification too. So there's a lot of terms that we're going to be throwing out today.
A lot of acronyms.
A lot of acronyms. Yeah. So that's really bad for diversification as well.
Yeah.
But there are these ideas where if you're a company and you buy 10 S&P 500 stocks, right, you can then break those down into fractional shares, and then sell those to individual clients.
Yeah.
You know, so I have that's pretty much some of the basis behind a ETF. So that's called an exchange traded funds. So let's say I buy 100 S&P shares.
Yeah.
Right. I will break that down into 100 more shares per share. So I'm going 100 times 100. That's like
$1 million?
10
100,000
100,000. I'm gonna cut that part out.
or 10,000.
I'm pretty sure it's 10,000.
Did I say a million?
10,000,
Oh
I
my
I'm
think.
pretty
God.
sure it's 10,000.
I was gonna say 100,000, but that was still off.
Yeah, yeah.
4 zeros and then there's a 10. So that's
There we go.
10,000.
Boom.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Yeah.
grade 5.
yeah. Cut that out.
Public
This is-
education.
My entire credibility has just has just wiped away. Yeah, 10,000. So that's 10,000 ETFs that you can kind of distribute now, and those individual ETFs represent one stock or
Yeah.
a fraction of the S&P 500 stock. But now it's much cheaper. So now instead of having to toss down and commit $1,000, you can commit $100.
Yeah.
$100. You know, or maybe $10.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like super easy for you to budget into your thing, and it's super easy for you to buy month over month.
Yeah.
You know, you save $10 here, you could be like, okay, I can put $10 more into the S&P ETF.
Hear me out. You don't have a coffee every single day,
Skip your Starbucks today.
right? And you can buy a
I c-
ETF
I can buy an
right
ETF.
now.
I can
Think about
create
that.
an ETF. Yeah.
Think about that.
But there's also
will, bro.
index funds that kind of invest for you
Yeah.
in the S&P 500.
Yeah.
How does it work in Canada? Because there's online brokers, but which
Yeah.
ones should we go to? Like, which ones should we trust?
So there are a bunch of pretty okay. So what you're talking about is more of a mutual fund.
Yeah.
A mutual fund. What a mutual fund will do, you put your money into a fund, and it's kind of similar to ETF, but not at the same time. This mutual fund will not be on the markets, so you can't buy or sell outside of your bank. Your bank will be the one that kind of makes your mutual fund, and they're the ones that are managing it. When you're looking at an ETF, you have a third-party entity, you know, called Vanguard is like a
Yeah.
big one, right?
Does Vanguard work in Canada as well?
Vanguard is the Canadian one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be on your TSX.
Yep.
So you'll have Vanguard. That's an ETF.
Mm-hmm.
That is a third-party company. That's not related to TD, not related to RBC, CIBC, or anything like that. Vanguard will then manage your funds. And then Vanguard will allow you, much like your mutual funds will, but there are much more ETFs than there are mutual funds.
Right.
Vanguard will allow you to invest in particular segments of the market. So you can do dividend stocks. You know, I have dividend ETFs. You can do emerging markets, which have a large proportion in the Chinese market. You know, which maybe as the average shareholder, you don't have access to, you know, Chinese yen easily.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have access to the Chinese markets easily.
Yeah.
But if you invest in the Vanguard ETF, that Vanguard ETF will already have maybe 40% of their shares in emerging Chinese stocks. You know?
And it works the same way where there's a pool of funds which
Yeah.
Vanguard is then managing for us.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Why did you like give that reaction on Forex?
So it's kind of like a meme on the investing community with that, like Forex people are kind of the Primerica
Okay.
of the investing community. You guys know about Primerica?
A little bit.
No,
Are
not
they?
really.
I hope we don't get sued for slander.
We're already sued.
Uh,
We've been sued so many times for the lack of quality content that we create. People listen to this podcast and they're like, I want my 2 hours back.
I want that shit back. So pretty much what what was I talking?
Primerica.
Primerica is the pyramid scheme of companies.
Oh my god.
So they will be
Why-
like,
that's why I feel like I've heard it before.
yeah. So they will be like, Primerica will be like, okay, you know, just sell these insurance policies
Yeah.
to all of your cousins and uncles and aunties,
Yeah.
saying that if you die, you're gonna make like $100,000 for your kids.
Yeah.
And then, but you will also get paid if you hire somebody else to sell all of these insurance policies too.
Yep.
You know, so you can quickly see a pyramid scheme
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming on. And that's what Forex, that's what a lot of times what kind of happens with the Forex community.
Yeah.
I have so many people, so many like bots in my Instagram account
Yeah.
that request to follow, and they're just like,
Yeah.
Forex make $100,000 a day.
Yeah.
You know, with like
It's
2 swipes."
2020. If you're not making money off your phone, what are you even doing?
Oh my god. So you guys have been targeted with those ads.
Yeah.
I'm grinding while you sleep. how they
This is
pitched
my
it to
boy.
you.
My boy just made $100,000.
Who was that guy with the back here in my garage?
Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez. Yeah.
Ty Lopez.
We need to find out how he makes money. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want to be in that garage.
Oh, bro. That guy's garage isn't even that nice. Like if you look at the garage,
Yeah.
like it's not even that big. I have the garage. Like
But he has a really interesting business model as well, where he convinced people he was rich,
yeah.
so they paid him to find out how he was rich.
Mhm.
So he then over time became rich because he convinced people he was rich.
People are so gullible in this community, or
Yeah.
not in this community.
In general.
In this generation,
Okay.
and just in this entire era, people are so gullible. People will pay hard-earned money that they're making at like no frills, that they're making at like Walmart.
Yeah.
People will pay that hard-earned money to listen to you try to describe how to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
Because everyone's out there looking for a shortcut, but there is no shortcut to success.
Think about lottery tickets, man. Like,
Yeah.
why do we buy lottery tickets?
Mhm.
Why are lottery tickets a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do our uncles and aunties still throw down $5 a week
Yep.
on lottery tickets
Mm-hmm.
when if they don't,
They
maybe
could
they could
get
have a
any-
Ferrari by the
There
end of
we
the year.
go. That's
That's what
what
it comes
we're on the
down
right
to.
page now. That we're thinking about the
Full
right
circle.
things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting because a lot of people, when you start hitting your mid-20s, people are like, "Oh, have you invested yet?
Yeah.
How are you gonna buy that house?"
It's
How are
almost
you
like a
gonna-
status symbol. It's almost like
Yes.
virtue signaling.
And
you
and
know.
now that I think about it, I don't know about the virtue signaling part of it, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, let's say if I want to invest now, what would be a good amount for me as a noob who's never invested anything? If I make a
Mhm.
Vanguard account right now, how much should I put in?
So you would have to start with a broker, right?
Okay.
Vanguard is it's a company that makes the ETFs.
Yep.
And manages money. But you would have to start with a broker. But I see what you're trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
how much would you put in? Really, you would be able to put in as much as you're comfortable with.
Okay.
If you are, I would say, and this is just my advice, if you are going with less than 10K,
Yeah.
in your, and 10K is a lot. Like I don't even
Yeah.
have 10K in my TFSA.
Yeah.
But if you are going with less than 10K, join one of the free or really cheap brokerage. Not Robinhood, but I'm saying like Quest Trade is really good. Wealth
Yeah.
Simple is a big one
And
that a lot of
they
people
take
use.
a portion of it as well, like a
They don't
minimal
take that,
fee-ish,
but they
something like
take
that.
a small fee, like a commission.
Yeah.
For buying. I think this is Wealth Simple's. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think this might be Wealth Simple's.
Yeah.
They might take like $5 or so on your buys,
Yeah.
and your sells are free.
Yeah.
Something like that. While at RBC,
Mm-hmm.
I work at RBC, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in private banking, and so
So
I
watch
wanted
what you
to
say.
be, huh?
Watch
Yeah,
what you say
yeah. I gotta
before
be, I gotta be careful.
Can't
But
100% shit on them.
I don't even know what's happening next. But I felt like a sense of like obligation to sign up with their brokerage account, and that's crazy expensive, bro. Like it's $9.95 on buys and sells, no matter what.
Right.
Wow.
So if I buy and if I sell, I'm already looking at almost $20 in commission
Yeah.
for my entire position in that share,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
lot
big
of money.
chunk.
Especially since I'm not even investing 10K yet, right? I'm
Yeah.
at like maybe 7.7 right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even investing.
So
that
when you
crazy.
when you invest, it's more like a set it and then forget it thing, right? So you're not even
Yeah.
looking at what the stock market is doing tonight. You're not doing any of that.
I reconcile on the at the end of the market,
Okay.
just to see if I got any dividends, and I'll probably like do the journal entries and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
On Excel.
Finally, the degree's
Yeah.
paying off.
Finally doing something with my life, except being on this podcast.
This is probably the peak.
This is the peak.
It doesn't
goes
get better
downhill
than
from
this.
here. I'm gonna have to start selling my watches to make food to get food on the table. But yeah, man, what were we talking about?
Oh, I forgot.
You're talking about how much you invest.
How much you
Yes.
invested?
TFSA.
Yes. Then if you check the stock market or not.
Yeah. So no, I'm not actively trading
Yeah.
every day, because obviously that's not my job, right?
Yeah.
My job is to be attentive to the files that I'm working with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'll definitely give it a look, and I'll see like, okay, what happened.
So is that a daily ritual of yours?
That's a daily
What
ritual.
happened tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like a daily ritual for sure.
Yeah.
And that it gives me a little schedule,
Yeah.
to work with, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'll look at this, and then sometimes at the month end, I'll stop. I'll go on the weekend, and I'll be like, okay, what moves did I make that were right?
Yeah.
What moves did I make that were wrong? Which play did I not call?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And was it something that I should have seen? Like, I'll give you an example. Goldman, I had I think it was like 12 or 13 shares of Goldman Sachs
Yeah.
for 200 each. Weighted average 200.
Yeah.
I sold it at 202, which gave me like $10 a profit.
Yeah.
$202 is what I sold it at. It gave me a very small amount, but then 2 days later, it went to 217,
Oh,
and that's
wow.
because I forgot the quarterly was coming out, and like an idiot, I was like, oh, $10
Oh my
profit,
God.
take it,
Yeah.
So I left like 100, 120 on the table, which is,
yeah.
if you're
So
$7,000, that's a lot of money.
You must
Yeah.
have been stressed lately because of how the market was reacting to COVID.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like
gonna
when it
ask.
was at its peak.
It's so difficult to predict
Yeah.
anything that's happening anymore.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things that they say in investing. There's a difference between investing and trading.
Yeah.
When you're trading, you are speculating, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that Warren Buffett, all glory to Warren Buffett, says that you should never do
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're trying to invest.
Yeah.
Right? You're speculating. You are making calculated risks, sometimes not very calculated risks, and you're seeing like, okay, is this going to work out? What if I do this? What if I do that? What if the COVID isn't as big as they think it is? And
Yeah.
what if it's all proven to be a
Hoax.
conspiracy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're investing based off of your emotions at a certain point,
Yeah.
and not so much on calculations and
Right.
looking at the ratios and deciding for yourself on analysis, right? So if you're doing that, then you are proven to not be very good.
So like on the night of, was it 14th or 15th March
Yeah,
when the thing crashed?
yeah.
How upset were you?
Not even that upset.
Really?
Not
You
even that
didn't even
upset.
think about
Because I guess the general trend is like over time, regardless of how bad the
Yeah.
recession is, it's an upward
Yeah.
trend.
Yeah. And the good thing is, one of the biggest things that I would say at this point, for anybody that is investing, if your company is going to make it through, if your company will not die at the end of this, and you can reasonably say that that's for sure.
Yeah.
Air Canada
Yeah.
probably will make it through.
Yeah.
The banks 100%
1000%.
are going to
Yeah.
make it through.
Yeah.
If there is a drop because of COVID, that is a buying opportunity, because the fundamental quality of your stock, of your company, has not changed.
Yeah.
So if you are seeing a deep discount on the markets right now, is a solid buying opportunity.
Yeah.
So you can capitalize on that.
Right.
And then year end, you were going to thank yourself.
Yeah.
You were going to thank me, and then you were going to thank the broadcast,
The broadcast podcast.
the broadcast podcast.
Talking about COVID, I think you went to one of the last concerts that ever happened in Toronto before everything closed down.
Yeah, I am so upset about that, man.
And
I'm not upset you
Dude.
went. I'm upset I couldn't go.
Oh man, my girlfriend was so mad at me
yeah,
for making her go to this concert.
yeah,
And it was like, I think it was like
March
her,
5th or 6th.
I think I got it for like her. Oh, I got it for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I got these tickets for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And bro, let me tell you,
We're talking about the Lumineers, by the way.
Lumineers.
Chris saw Lumineers before the world went to shit.
Oh hey,
Floor seats.
Oh, hey. Floor seats?
bro.
Oh my
They
God.
had me surrounded.
Yeah.
Like I was in the pit.
Yeah.
Like there's like the stage.
Yep.
Right. So let's say this is the stage.
Yep.
Okay. There is a little border that they danced around
Yeah.
on this, and there was like a drum set here. They came all the way here.
Yeah.
And me and Rachel with like maybe 10, 15 other people.
Yeah.
Were right in that pit.
Wow.
And so I was looking at their backs. I was looking at their fronts. We were surrounded
Yeah.
by the Lumineers.
Could you have anticipated that this would be a last concert, that everything would be closing down?
I would have never thought in my life.
Because we were joking about COVID that time.
Yeah,
Do
we
you
were.
remember that?
Yeah, we were. And we were also saying, maybe it's only like 200, 300 people in all of Canada that have it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the chance that it's going to get this big?
Mm-hmm.
We fucked up.
Yeah.
We fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And now that I'm looking back, I'm like, that was a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was can you imagine going to a concert like that now?
Oh my God. Just thinking about
I
20,000
it.
get,
people?
I
It's
got
giving
anxiety
anxiety.
coming here.
Bro,
I was like, weren't you guys like in Toronto yesterday?
No, we disinfect everything before you, like
I
the
got you,
mics and
man.
everything. We
Appreciate
got
it,
you
bro.
covered. We got
Appreciate
you
it.
covered.
Yeah,
But-
but it's scary, right? And
How big of a Lumineers fan are you?
I wasn't that big. I wasn't crazy big.
Yeah.
When the first album that I think that I got into was Cleopatra. Was that
Yeah, yeah.
was that
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it was? Cleopatra,
Yeah.
right? That was my first like taste of the Lumineers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then 3 came out, and
Oh
then
my
that
God.
really pushed me into it.
Yeah.
You know, because I was going through like an entire phase of my life where I was thinking, okay, you know, I applied for this job. I might not even be in Toronto. I might be
Yeah.
in like
Yeah.
New Brunswick.
Oh,
That's where it
wow.
was supposed to take me before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was just going through like an entire period in my life where I was like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when that happens, you don't listen to the same music you
No
always do.
way.
Yeah.
You hear
No
this
way.
new, real cool 3
3. Yeah.
on Spotify, and you're like, yo, who are these Lumineer guys?
Yeah.
Have you found your experience listening to them after the concert change? Like
Yeah.
that's what I've felt when I've listened to any artist at a concert, and then when I listen to their music again,
Yeah.
it's just like I either picture myself at the concert or I'm just like feeling the vibe differently.
I have videos. Oh, yo, I can show you. Let me show you on Snapchat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took some amazing videos.
When they
At
came
that
in
concert.
2016, I went to see them at the Lumineers,
Yeah.
and it was one of the best concerts
Yeah.
I've been to. They're
Oh
so
my
good.
God,
They're very
so
underrated.
Amazing.
They're really. I don't think they're underrated. They're
Not
pretty big.
anymore. They did 2 shows back to back.
Yeah,
like, sold
they're
out.
big, but like their shows are so immersive.
Yeah.
Plus, they play like organic instruments.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's none of that. What's it called? Like those electronic feedbacks in the back. You're not
No.
hearing anything that's
Yeah.
computer based. It's all from the piano, from the guitar, from the voice that you're hearing.
Mhm.
And I mean, I miss that. And
Yeah.
to your point, when you go to a concert and then you listen to the songs back again,
Mhm.
yeah, that experience is so like unique to your experience
Yeah.
that now when new music comes out, you're just like, it's not the same. Oh wow. Sleep on the floor, yeah.
You're very close.
I'm so close. I'm gonna mute that because I'm singing my heart out. But dude,
Great view.
absolutely phenomenal view.
This was at the Scotiabank Arena.
This was at Scotiabank Arena,
Yeah.
previously known as Air Canada Center.
Yeah, rest in peace
But
to that.
man, like this was one of the best concerts.
And who would have
I've
thought
ever
that would
been
have been
to.
the last time?
And my girl was trying to get me to sell off the tickets.
No.
And so I was like, Ahmed was this close to coming.
I
I
had
think
an
he had like a
exam
midterm. Or
I had a
something.
midterm the next day.
You had the midterm the next day, and he was considering it.
I was considering it. I was really
Yeah.
considering
He was like,
it.
"Yo, Lumineers, or
Can I
you know?"
Am I that prepared?
I mean, I would have considered it too, because
Honestly.
because I mean,
I
it's
should have
the
taken
Lumineers,
you.
man.
It would've
Bro,
been
I
a-
would have.
it would've been a
known
date.
you. It would. You and I were there. I would have been screaming louder than you were.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Lumineers so much. They're so good. They're a fall vibe. Like if you put
Yeah.
Lumineers on in autumn,
Dude.
it's just it hits perfectly.
A fall vibe, they're a winter vibe. They're
Oh,
just
yeah,
a vibe, bro.
Spring vibe, yeah.
They're just
totally.
everything, and it's just their music is just so genuine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
It's just so genuine.
Yeah.
You get hit no matter who you are. You could no matter what your ethnicity is, what your
Yeah.
culture is. If you listen to the Lumineers and you really give them a chance, you listen to Jimmy Sparks.
Yeah.
Are you telling me Jimmy Sparks won't make you tap your feet?
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Sparks is one of the best songs I've ever heard. It's
Yeah.
And
all-time classic.
The storytelling in that song, the storytelling in their music in general, like 3 and Cleopatra, it's beautiful. Like we don't see artists taking those risks
No,
anymore.
man.
It's very generic
No.
now,
Yeah.
and it's nice to have that like outside the
Yeah.
box type thing.
Yeah.
Earlier we talked about diversification of stocks. I know you have a diversification of artists in your playlist because you're
Yeah.
a huge J. Cole fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I love J Cole.
I'm a big J. Cole
You're into
fan.
John Mayer. You love
I am.
Passenger.
Passenger
Whoa,
sick.
that's
The
completely different
Lumineers.
spectrum.
I'm on very different.
So are these
wavelengths.
like different moods? Are these different vibes? Does it depend on the day?
I would say I'm a combination of artists' vibes.
Yeah.
So I will have there are vibes from J. Cole and
Mhm.
Drake that would fit perfectly into vibes of Passenger, The Weeknd, and
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
Lumineers.
yeah,
right.
yeah, for sure.
So there are definitely some vibes that are just like all together. But
yeah, overlapping.
I'm not the type of guy that will blindside myself and say I only listen to hip hop. I
Yeah.
only listen to R&B. I will really like if I believe in this, man. Like if quality is there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you can find love in anything. You can
That's true.
and you will fall in love with some like music
Yeah.
s-
that you never thought.
genres and
yeah.
songs and artists that really like nobody would expect you to,
Yeah,
right? So good taste is universal,
that's true.
you know.
What kind of
And,
movies are you into?
I'm not much of a movie guy.
Are you a movie guy or a TV show guy?
I'm definitely a TV show guy.
TV show guy.
Definitely
So
a
like,
TV show
are you
guy.
like Netflix, Hulu,
Netflix,
HBO Max, all that?
Netflix,
Okay,
yeah,
Netflix.
Netflix.
So
But,
what
like-
are the shows that you think everybody should watch?
Bro, Avatar.
Oh
Avatar:
yeah,
The Last Airbender.
yeah. I watched that. That was good.
Classic. That I grew up on that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, man, there's not much that I could say, has never disappointed me. Suits has disappointed me.
Oh yeah.
Supernatural
broke
has
my heart.
disappointed
Game of
me.
Thrones finale probably broke your heart.
I never watched it.
Oh, you're
I never
saved.
watched. Let me get everybody pissed off.
Yes.
All right. I never watched Harry Potter.
You see that?
Yeah, that's the door.
That,
Oh,
that
that's the Harry
that's
Potter.
a Harry Potter
I
banner.
didn't know. I thought that was some army shit.
Got it. Got it from London at the Harry Potter
Facts.
Studios. This house
Jeez.
is a big Harry Potter house. My Wi-Fi.
I thought you were gonna
It's
say your
called-
wife.
My wife is Harry
I was
Potter.
like, is she here?
Surprisingly.
It's Hermione Granger.
Hermione Granger is my wife. Honey. It's
Come here.
Leviosa, by the way.
Damn, bro.
No, my Wi-Fi password, my Wi-Fi network is called Hogwarts House.
Mm.
Like that's how much of like a Harry Potter fan we
Harry
are.
Potter fan, you
Yeah,
are.
that's
I've-
disrespectful, man.
My girl is like a big Harry Potter fan. Her entire family is.
So you were never
big Harry
intrigued
Potter
into that. You were never like, what is this?
Nah,
Not even with Game of Thrones. Like everybody was talking. about Game of
I
Thrones.
did watch like a little bit of Game of Thrones. I was watching like a little bit of season 1. I got through halfway through it,
What happened?
and I was just like, I don't know, man. It's just
Really?
it's not my
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Yeah, like
That's
I
interesting.
couldn't keep track of the characters.
Right.
Okay, yeah, there are a lot of
It's
them.
a lot
They're
of
They
games
were
are
throwing
difficult
a
to know.
lot of characters at me, and I'm a simple guy.
Yeah,
I'm a very simple guy with a lot of watches, but I'm a very simple guy. And I was just like, this is a little too much for me. So I just
no,
stopped,
I
you
get
know?
that. I totally
Yeah.
get that because in the beginning it's a bit jarring.
Yeah.
Weird names.
Prison Break, never watched it.
Prison Break. I didn't watch it.
Breaking Bad, never watched it.
What
you
are you?
should
What are you watching then?
You should watch
Really
Breaking
not.
Bad.
watching?
It's a very simple story, not a lot of characters. but
Really?
There's like
it's-
4
it's
characters in
crazy.
Breaking Bad.
I know,
yeah.
but it's like the entire let's cook meth.
It's not just that though.
I'm dying. Let's cook meth.
It's a lot more.
Wow. Plot.
That's
Very
like
good plot.
That's like, oh my god, that's like saying like Star Wars is like a father-son road trip movie. It's not really like that now, is it? Let's be honest. That's not what's happening in Star Wars. Like, oh, father-son in space. No, no.
It's like Star Wars is oh, I lost my dad. I can't find him anywhere. And then you go to the PA system and Luke's dad, come to the front.
It's
come
me.
to the main
I
cache.
am your father, Luke. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta check these out. Like, what's your
Yeah.
schedule like? What's your routine? Do you have time for shows now?
Yeah, I'm
You're a busy dude.
100% do, but like I'm a commitment guy.
Yeah,
If I'm making a commitment, I need to know that that's like something cool.
yeah.
You know, like Breaking Bad, like the entire plot, like people have explained it to me 100 different ways when they can't believe like
Yeah.
I'm not into it. And I'm just like, dude, that's just not my.
Maybe you need to open yourself
cup
up
of
to that
tea.
fantasy world.
I honestly do. I opened myself up to music so much
Right,
when I was
yeah.
a kid. My sister was playing like different, and I think we all get it from older siblings.
Yeah, yeah. I think we do.
We get music from older siblings.
yeah.
I got it from my sister.
He's got it from me.
He got it from you.
Yeah.
You
Not
know,
ashamed to admit that.
and it's weird. People who don't really talk to their older siblings or don't have older siblings,
Yeah.
they don't listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
They're not
that's so
really
true.
big music people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just made a discovery here.
Yeah. Let's patent that.
But how's life been recently? You just graduated from U of T.
Yes,
Me and
sir.
Krish are like
Congratulations, man.
we're
That's
classmates.
big.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
I feel
It's
like
hard
for the
work. I have white hairs now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm 23 and I have white hair. I have like white hair here, and then I have an entire like tree of white hairs that grow out
Yeah.
of my beard. Like if you see like this little like patch
you
right
want to
here-
credit U of T for that?
huh?
You want to credit U of T?
Yeah,
management
credits
for
U
that?
of T for that. $40,000. 40,000.
Yeah,
$40,000
bro,
went
40
straight
grand.
into white hairs. The
So
investment.
at least you came out with your spine still straight, man. 'cause
I
that-
did, man.
That
Yo,
stuff
and no,
will break a back.
no second hole at my. Can't believe that made the podcast.
I feel like at the whole 4 years of my undergrad, I've just been looking forward to like graduating and being done with everything. And looking back now, maybe I didn't get a chance to really enjoy the struggle.
Because there's no
but
graduation anymore.
that's true as well.
Forever.
But how have you
So
found your
what's
4 years? Like, do you feel
5.
satisfied?
5. We didn't have to say that.
Correct.
You didn't have
say
to.
that.
5.
Why'd you emphasize 4? Like I didn't know. Like I was just gonna
slipped
lie
my
to the
mind.
people. It's taking me 5 years.
But
the
yeah,
summer.
has it been anticlimactic, like just finishing everything?
Dude, it
Or
was like
is it really a sense of achievement that you have done something tangible?
it came in waves.
Okay.
So the first wave was when I finished off my final exam.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was like, dude, I'm done. And then I had my online graduation ceremony, and then I emailed my manager like that week, and I was like, hey, I gotta take, 2 hours off. I have my online ceremony,
Yeah.
and that was a big, okay, this is I'm graduated,
Yeah.
you know. And then when my certificate came in, and then when my girl bought me the frame,
Yeah.
and then I framed it, and now it's hanging on my wall above my TV.
Yep.
And that's like I think that was like the second last wave of feeling accomplishment that
Mhm.
came in. The last one is going to be when everything's better, finally going in and then shaking a few profs' hands,
Yeah.
saying some
Maybe a fist bump.
rude gestures to other profs.
Yes.
And then that's going to be the final one, and then
Yeah.
from there, hopefully by that time I'll be like maybe a year into CPA, and then
Is
getting
there
the next
pleasure in the
thought.
pain though, Krish?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you look back
When I
at the
look back,
5 years and you're like, I'm totally worth it?
most of my memories is with Ahmed,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, like most of the very difficult memories of studying for courses I could not care less about
Yeah.
were with this
The
guy.
long nights, the early mornings.
Oh my god, bro! I pushed you, you pushed
Yeah.
me, and we spent nights at UTSC
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun place to be overnight. There's
This
no
is the best
food.
romantic story I've ever
Yes.
heard in my life. There's so much sexual tension
No,
right now.
no.
No, 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 no. That's not how
What
it
just-
is.
I mean,
Halal gang, halal gang.
there were some nights, man. I couldn't go through without him. Like, what do you tell me where I'm
No.
wrong?
No.
Then I meant
Yeah.
bromance.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Did I say romance?
100%. There has to be a romance.
But no, but like that's exactly
dude,
what you're talking about.
and that's what
You need those friends, those
when
connections.
when you're graduated and when you're years down the line. That's what you're gonna remember.
100%.
You're gonna remember you're not gonna remember what you were looking at that page, but as soon as you do one of these and you lean back
Yeah, yeah.
and you're like, dude, and you just fucking sit there for a second, and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And then the whoever's around you just start giggling like,
Yeah.
"You pussy." Those are the memories you admire
Yeah.
when you graduate, and there's plenty more memories like that to come,
Mhm.
because this is not the end for anybody.
No
We
way.
live in a generation where you graduate with your BBA or your BCom and that's all you do. It's going to be a very difficult road ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because, not just because it's difficult to get a job or anything like that with just your bachelor's,
Yeah.
but also because there's also a societal pressure
Mhm.
that
Oh, yeah.
says if you stop there, you're doing nothing with your life.
Yep.
And so there's a dual sword swinging right at you as soon
Mhm.
as you graduate, and you're like, I gotta hop on the next thing.
Yeah.
But I
The
think
next
that's
project.
life in general. Like when I was in high school, I couldn't wait to get into uni. When I was in uni, I couldn't wait to graduate. And now, when I'm at the twilight of my graduating, my undergrad, I'm thinking about what's next. And I know when I get a job, I'll be looking for my next promotion,
Yeah.
where I'm going to get my next master's
It's always
from,
the next
how
step.
I'm going to become a director. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think because of that, we're lacking this sense of living in the now.
Yeah,
And you can't live in the now when all you're looking forward to is the then.
Yeah.
and we're children of immigrants, right? So when I say that, we don't have trust funds.
Yeah.
I could sound wealthy when I'm on here,
Yeah.
and I could say I know
You did with the lemon watches.
everything. Yo, bro.
We're convinced.
When I talk about RRSPs and tax savings and TFSAs and
Mhm.
all of stocks, ETFs, all of these things, I can sound like one of the guys straight off of Wall Street. But
Yep.
we don't have trust funds waiting for us. We don't have the connections and the networks that
Mhm.
Queen students do.
Yep. Hashtag
Whereas kids of CFOs and CEOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't have that, right?
That's true.
We've whatever we have so far, we've had to grind for, or our parents have had to grind for with
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So-
100%.
We come from a mentality that's like, if you stop and if you admire, you're so scared of being complacent, and you're so scared of going,
Mhm.
damn, why don't I just take a break for a while
Yeah.
and just not do anything? And that's like, because that's really what you want to do when you're grinding. You just want to go to sleep and you don't want to wake up for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you know? But if you do that, that means that you're a failure.
Yeah.
And
That's true,
your
man.
parents could call you that, your friends could call you that, your girl could call you that, your guy could call you that. No matter who calls you that, it doesn't mean anything until you start calling yourself that.
Yeah.
And then that you're so scared of getting into that mentality.
Yeah.
So we
It gets
don't
crippling after a point.
take that step to go
Yeah.
like, yo, let me just celebrate this accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
because we're so busy and so scared of doing that, that if we just take that second, we're like, yo, man, maybe this was good enough.
Yeah.
Yo, I put a lot of time and energy into that. I think that was U of T. U of T's sick. A master's from Ryerson is like a bachelor's from U of T. I can stop here.
Wow.
You know.
Oh, wow.
So I was
You
just-
start telling yourself.
I was
that,
gonna ask
that's
you
like
if it
game.
matters where you graduated from, but I already know your answer at this point.
Absolutely not. If you go to, was that not the answer you?
No, I thought you were gonna say yeah, it does matter.
No,
I don't think it matters either.
No, dude.
But I can't say that because I'm a UIT student.
What matters way more?
Well, I mean, you don't want to hear a UIT student be like, yeah, it doesn't matter where you graduate from, man. You want like the Harvard student, the UFT student to be like, no, it doesn't matter. Because that gives you hope.
Let me tell you something. Man. They profit off of us like no tomorrow, and then they don't give a shit
Mm-hmm.
who we are, where we are in life after that. You know?
Yeah.
Until they call you for more money.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, do you want to like make a pledge? Like you're
Yeah.
like, fuck off. No, I don't.
Yes.
Can I swear on here?
Yeah,
No,
sure, go
but
ahead.
you can't, but
We
it's
should-
already been done.
We should bleep it out, maybe.
We don't.
Can
We
we?
won't bleep it out.
Okay.
This will
Go
be
ahead.
our first explicit podcast.
Okay, my bad.
18
I'm
plus.
sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You asked at the
Your parents
50th
don't listen to
minute-
this, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody listens to this.
This is just for our
This is just
memory's
for us.
sake,
Just for us.
so
This
we
is
can
our
look back on
watch.
it.
No, I'm kidding. But
Yeah.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, they make so much money off of us, and it's absolutely ridiculous that we start buying into this idea that it matters where you go to.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
absolutely does not matter. If you are happy going to Ryerson, and if Ryerson is close to you, and your friends are going to Ryerson, and you think you can do really good, get a good GPA in Ryerson, it doesn't matter where you go as
Yeah.
long as you have a good GPA.
Mm,
That's my
true.
hot take.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not
That
going
is a
to
hot
like
take.
some Lakehead University that people have to ask you in the interview, like, oh, where is that? If you're going there
Shout out to
and you
Nipissing
go
you.
into an interview, they don't know where you went to university.
Mhm.
That might be a problem.
Yeah.
If it's like a reputable name brand,
Yeah.
bro, it doesn't matter if you go to York. It doesn't matter if you go to Ryerson, U of T,
UIT.
UIT.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and I think
Come on.
employers are really heading towards that skill-based thing where their priority is more of what you know.
GPA,
Yeah.
GPA. Even before that, they will ask you about your GPA
Because that's what gets you the interview, right?
That's
That's what puts
gets
you in the
the
seat
interview.
where they're asking you those questions.
You
Without
think,
that-
you think they care that 3.0 from Ryerson is not the same as a 3.0 at U of T?
Yeah.
They could give less of a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're looking at you know what? First of all, you know how disrespectful that is? There's a bot that rejects me
Yeah.
before a human rejects me.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
that?
You enter that GPA and it's like they don't pass your
I've had-
resume forward.
I've applied
Wow.
to positions. They ask me that, and then less than 30 seconds later, a bot sends me an email saying, "Unfortunately, this was a long process and you were not accepted."
Wow.
And you're just like,
wow.
did a bot just reject me?
Yeah. It's not the
Maybe
first
I
time
should
that-
give Forex a try.
Maybe this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter for any high school student that
Mhm.
ever listens to this, or if we ever give any high school student advice, which really we shouldn't.
No, not yet.
Don't even care about which university you're going
Mhm.
to. Care about which GPA you can get.
Yeah. How
Mhm.
hard you can work during those 4
Yeah.
or 5 years
Yeah.
to make sure you come out
Because
on top.
that, if you're thinking about masters, if you're thinking about CFA, CPA, if you're thinking about anything, medical school, if you're
Yeah.
thinking about medical
Oh
school,
my
bro,
God. Lawyers.
you're going
law?
to U of T, bro. Stop the cap.
Yeah.
Pull
Don't
out
even
and swap unis. Go somewhere else.
go straight
Do something
out.
else.
I think at one point, I pranked you for a bit. I was like, every time like you left your laptop open,
Yeah.
I would, I would type in how to switch to Ryerson.
Yeah. Yeah. That
On
happened.
his Google.
Yeah.
And I
I'll
would come
pull
back
up-
to
I
how to
would-
get into Ryerson
Bro,
and
he-
swap your credits.
A couple of years ago, he came into my room and he was like, "Yo, what's the process to get into UIT. I'm like, what do you mean? You're like in third year. It's like, no, no.
I couldn't take all that theory. But last, I want to talk about one thing. Like we're great friends, and I was so grateful to have you during my undergrad to push me
Me
and
too, man.
simultaneously,
Me too.
the other way around as well. But your name is Krishna. You're Indian Hindu. My name is Ahmed. I'm a Muslim Pakistani.
Yeah.
We are designed to hate each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what people say.
Yeah.
And I fundamentally don't believe with that theory at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people are designed to hate each other,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and a lot of people, especially back home, when we're looking at it. And I walk in, and if I see somebody's parents, I'll say salam alaikum.
Yeah.
You know,
My mom
Uh,
respects that, bro.
if thanks,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it, man. If it's Ramadan, I'll be like, Ramadan Mubarak,
Yeah.
Eid Mubarak.
Yeah.
I think that's just basic respect.
Yeah.
If we're saying Merry Christmas
Yeah.
to managers that want to fire us,
Yeah.
you think I can't tell my boy salam alaikum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say Kudafis when I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the older generation and the generation before that and the generation before that
Mm-hmm.
back home, when it was in the political interests of the governments
Yep.
for people to sign up for military warfare
Yep.
to take over certain regions that were disputed upon. And so a lot of the hate that we know our fellow countrymen feel is politically designed
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
And
implemented.
it's
to this day.
feeded by the media. Like
yeah, yeah,
I know it's the same
Fed.
both sides of the border, where we're taught that the Indian is the enemy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's been feeding us to us
Yeah.
in movies and dramas. When it's a cricket match too, it's like war out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
our
crazy.
our
It's the Cold
our,
War.
our fans cannot
Legit.
take a loss from
And
India.
you know
and
what's
it's the same way
It's
around.
the funniest thing is when an Indian and Pakistani move to like North America, UK, all that
Mhm.
that side of the world, bestest friends.
Exactly.
Bestest of friends.
Because the culture is so similar.
yeah.
The language is almost the same. The culture is
Yeah.
almost the same. Like your
The food-
references, the
food is
food,
the same,
everything.
everything's the
Like the
same.
music you listen to, Bollywood, the
Yeah.
movies you watch, everything is just like separated between such a thin membrane
Yeah.
that when they meet in a non-hostile environment, they're
Yeah.
like, "Yo, what?
Yeah.
You eat that too? I eat that
Yeah.
too."
Yeah.
And it both smells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're both
smells amazing.
yeah. And then when those two parties are met in a neutral environment,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, why are we fighting again?
Mm.
Nobody knows.
I was at the temple a few years ago. I think it was in high school, and by this point, I'm well versed on the hate that goes from Pakistan to India,
Yeah.
India to Pakistan.
Mhm.
I understand that is a framework that I have to
Yeah.
navigate in life. But I was at the temple, and there was like a religious Maharaj sitting there giving a lecture, and he was saying that back in the day, before Pakistan was Pakistan and India was India, and everything was just one
One.
country.
Yeah.
After the separation of Afghanistan and
Yeah, yeah.
all of that. But we're just talking about India and Pakistan together.
Yeah.
Muslim neighbors and Hindu neighbors would live side by side.
Yeah.
And during Ramadan, Hindus would go over to mosques and then, vacuum the rug,
Yep.
clean the silverware, feed, you know, because at Ramadan, obviously, everybody's a little weak.
Yep.
Mhm.
If we can get some help, that would be nice.
Yeah.
And it would be the same during, festivals of Hinduism,
Mhm.
Diwali, Janmashtami,
Yep.
all of these Hindu festivals. Our Muslim brothers and sisters would also help.
Yeah.
They would stand in line, they would feed us, they would serve the food, and they would help us out.
Yeah.
And back then, there was no animosity.
Yeah.
So this is coming straight from the words of a Hindu Maharaj,
Yep.
who in every way could have taken that opportunity to spew more hate,
Yeah.
but then you realize, like, okay, if this is not a religious thing,
Yeah.
because if it was a religious thing, then he would have told me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pakistanis are act of Maya, which is an act of ignorance, and
Yeah.
this and that. If this isn't a religious thing, then something happened where 100 or so years ago, both sides took it upon themselves to start spreading hate.
Yep.
And ever since then, our countrymen have soaked and ingrained in that hate,
Mhm.
Yep.
and really marinated in that hate. And
Yeah.
that hate comes out no matter where they go in the world. And so still, I don't think what your statement was. You said if Indians and Pakistanis go to another country and
Yeah.
then they get along great. I don't think that's the case, because I still know that my parents are very very racist.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure your parents would be
It's
too,
it's
right?
it's harder for the
To some
older
people,
generation to
because
unhinge from that.
they marinated in
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
marinated in that sort of a hate, and
Yeah.
nothing makes you hate more than feeling like you're hated against for no reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing,
And the
because
media doesn't
Pakistan,
help that either.
that does it
Both
starts
sides,
that.
both
That's what
medias are
starts it.
very
Yeah.
Hostile.
agitated. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
always like reaching for the drama,
Talk about
for the
like
sauce.
you think Fox News is biased, bro?
Oh no.
Go
No,
to
no, no.
like ZTV.
No, there's this NDTV. Is the one. What's the guy's name with the
Arnab Goswami.
bro? That guy. Oh my god.
Oh, I know who you're
He-
talking about. Yeah,
both collectively, Indians and Pakistanis are like, what are you talking about, man? That's not what happening.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
like-
the Bill O'Reilly
Bro.
of Indian media, and then we have like our Pakistani guys who do the same
Yeah.
thing.
yeah,
Those like really red,
yeah.
Breaking news.
breaking news. India
Come
did
on,
this,
son.
Pakistan did that. And
It's like you watch
not
the news
really
and it's like
anything.
they're at the brink of war, but
Any
all
second
the
now.
time, all
Yeah.
the time.
and there's so many news channels. Why do you
But
need
why-
so
why
many
do you-
news channels?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that media does that? I want your.
I
want
think
your
for me, I think it's just and I see my dad following the politics back home as well, and it's just I did that for a few years myself, but I've just totally disconnected at this point because
Mhm.
I feel the reason why they have so many news channels and so much breaking news is to just keep you consumed.
Yeah.
It's just to keep you
It's
mentally
sensationalism.
occupied.
What does that do? If you're always consumed, if you're always on
always
You're
the-
always
watching.
looking forward to what's next. I
are you ever
guess.
gonna unsubscribe from the news?
No.
No.
Are you ever
Gonna
gonna
keep watching?
call whatever the Pakistani version of Rogers is? and
Yeah.
go, you can uninstall this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
No.
news package. No, you're
Mhm.
never gonna do that.
John Stewart was on a Fox News thing back in the day when he was still doing the Daily Show, and he was talking about how Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, he was talking about the Western media, but that's so much more prevalent to our media back home, is that their 24-hour news cycle is built for one thing and one thing only, and that's stuff like 9/11, right? When 9/11 doesn't
Fox
happen,
News?
yeah,
Yeah.
when stuff like that isn't happening, it's sensationalism.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, because you got to keep the viewer watching.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect template of that is our media back home.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened today.
Our
You-
media is the hyperbole.
You
that.
literally open any like Pakistani Indian news channel and it feels like the end of the world just happened and you missed it.
Yeah.
But nothing has happened.
Yeah.
And that's like the epitome of what toxic media has become. Like North America is turning into that. Like the more crazy the president is, the more crazier the news gets.
Yeah.
And you see that when you're watching or listening to
Yeah.
Fox News or CNN or whatever.
Yeah.
But because we're sort of desensitized to that, because we
Mhm.
watched our media so much back home,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, what is happening? And
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because that's
Mhm.
not really the reality
Yeah.
of the matter.
Yeah.
Nobody's bombing anybody, and yet everybody's hating everybody.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody was bombing anybody. I would say that, there have definitely been times of heightened conflict
Yeah.
between our two
Oh yeah,
nations.
and that's because of the escalation from the media.
100%.
The media says they did that. Their media says we did
100%.
that.
And yo,
Suddenly, like,
let me tell you something. How come there's always an escalation a year before an election?
Yep.
You think
That's-
that's because that escalation was called for? I don't think so.
How did Osama bin Laden get killed right before Obama's reelection?
Bro, tell me how Ebola came right before Obama got reelected. Tell me how H1N1 came right at the time of I think Bush's administration
Yeah.
or something like that. And then what are we looking at now? We're looking at COVID and
Yeah.
Trump
Getting
and
good in 3 days.
re-election's November 3rd,
Yep.
or at least that's when the election is, right? So it's
Yeah.
how, really, are all of these things really taking flight in a very like scheduled manner, and none of us are
Mhm.
really paying attention
Yeah.
to it?
You're right. Election years are interesting to look upon, like whenever you're studying
What's
history.
happening? Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right.
There's a lot. I'm not like I actually I am. I'm a huge conspiracy theory guy.
Yeah, I heard. I see. I saw you check yourself with that. Like I
I'm
am,
a
but I'm not really.
Huge conspiracy theory guy. But
QAnon guy.
there's
That's
definitely
that's
Sorry.
gonna be my head. Like that's gonna be a thumbnail. We got a QAnon
QAnon.
supporter. You don't know what QAnon is?
No, what's that?
Oh, Pizzagate and all that stuff. You don't know?
Pizzagate?
Oh my god. Okay, I can't even.
That could be
begin
part of
to
the
start with that. That's a
part
whole other podcast.
when we have Krish
Do I need
back.
a blanket? Let me
Yeah.
get a blanket, and then
Like,
we'll get into this.
This like
A
basically
few more of these
QAnon.
cans.
QAnon thinks that Trump is the second coming of Christ, and he is. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm literally trying. I am trying with this can of
Yeah.
sparkling water.
Yeah.
But basically, QAnon thinks Trump is the second coming of Christ, and he will save everybody from it.
Jesus, really?
And Pizzagate is that people started like on QAnon or something like that.
Yeah.
They started saying that these pizza companies or people who are buying pizza are helping child traffickers. So this one guy,
Oh,
this-
I've heard that.
this one guy pulled up with a strap. Yeah, and
Tossed it into
police
the air.
got him, and they were like, "What are you doing here, man?"
Yeah, he was
There
like,
was on, have you seen the
release
social?
the kids.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
that guy.
There
the
are no
kids?
kids.
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah. So that's all QAnon stuff.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
So-
I don't go that crazy.
Okay, good.
I see like data and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like how come there's a pandemic every time somebody's getting elected these days?
Yeah.
You know, and in India, Pakistan, how come there's always like heightened escalation? Oh, you said this bad word to me, I'm saying this bad word to you.
Yeah.
At the time of an
You
election.
bloody you. Yeah.
You bloody you.
Let's keep it
Oh
at that.
my
Let's keep it at
god. Oh my god.
that.
Yeah.
But this is fun. Krish, it was an honor to have
Man,
you.
I'm so happy to be here. Hopefully, we can all meet soon again.
Yes, 100%. This was really fun because you and I haven't met, and you guys are
Yeah.
really good friends. So I would
Yeah.
always hear from him
Yeah.
how great this Krish dude is.
Yeah.
And
Chemistry was real
I
here.
have to test. You are pretty great.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
It was good, and hopefully you'll come back
100%.
very soon.
100%.
And yeah, we'll see you then.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys.
This is Nazar signing off from the broadcast,
This is ABS signing out.
and we'll see you guys on the next one.